What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. During the last part, we began going into the Tournament of Power. Universe 7 does have a team in mind, but there is one more person they need to recruit, and it's somebody from a few parts ago, Dabura. What's he been up to, and will he even join the team? More importantly, will he be a valuable asset if he does join? Well, we'll be covering all that and more in this part. For this video, let's set a like goal of 2,500 likes. Once we hit that, I'll continue with another part of the series. We're getting close to the end too, so be sure to hit that like button. Anyways, let's pick it from here. So, where is Dabura? What's he been up to? The group starts to track him down. They know he headed off into space, but they don't know where. They don't even know where to begin looking. And time is short, so Whis decides to help. He is able to locate Dabura actually. He won't be able to intervene and help them get Dabura to come here, but he can show them where he is. With help from Shin and Kibito, they could be teleported over there. But Shin warns them. He hopes they know what they're getting into, specifically Goku and Granolah who are the ones going. But they'll be fine. They think that they can retrieve Dabura. He seemed pretty reasonable against Boo, and in a situation like this, maybe he will team up with him again, even if he isn't necessarily an ally. They end up on a faraway planet. Thankfully there is an atmosphere here. I mean, how lucky is that, right? Totally not more convenient for me that way. Dabura turns around, sensing 4 new powers approaching. The Supreme Kai, and that Saiyan, that Cerulean, those 2 that he saw on Earth before. Why are they here? Why now? He thinks they're here to kill him. No words are exchanged. Dabura immediately draws his sword, launching towards them as a fight ensues. Goku takes this one for himself, and he notes, Dabura is definitely way stronger than when they last saw him. And while they could stop the fight now, Goku actually wants to keep it going. Dabura begins going all out, showing off some magical abilities as well, which is pretty surprising. Chunks of the ground start flying up, as Dabura flings them towards Goku, morphing them into different shapes and using them as weapons. Goku's about to destroy the rocks, but then his arms get restrained to his side. It then feels like he's being electrocuted, all the rocks start flying towards him, as a hole opens up below Goku, with lava flying out of it. Right before all this is about to hit him, Goku then powers up into Super Saiyan Blue, escaping Dabura's grasp. Wow, that was brutal, or at least it would have been if he was trapped in there. And Dabura's amazed. This power, he can't sense it, and was able to break free from his magic, even after all this time. But Dabura gets ready for round 2. He can still keep fighting, and he still has a lot more magic that he didn't show off. That was just a small taste of it. But remembering how painful that was, Goku says, wait a second. He drops the axe and tells Dabura they're not here to kill him, but he is glad that they got to fight a bit. Physically, he's a lot stronger, and his magical abilities are becoming a lot more complex. He integrates them directly into how he fights, which could be really good on the team. The team? What team? They catch Dabura up to speed. And yeah, Dabura's not a great guy here. He's not even good, but he isn't a supervillain. It's not like recruiting Frieza to the team. He's a bad guy, but they can at least trust Dabura to not betray everyone immediately and try killing his teammates. Although it would be concerning if he got the Super Dragon Balls. Well, considering this puts him at risk too, he decides to join the team. He's pursuing magical prowess only, and he hasn't really acted up in the past few years, so hopefully he won't be acting up during this short time either. Basically, he's just been out here in space training, honing his magical abilities and his physical strength. He has even gone to the Demon Realm from time to time, making trips there and then back to the normal world, and they're surprised to hear this. Weird, they thought he'd have some weird supervillain scheme going on. Maybe another Majin Buu being made, but no, he's definitely not going to do that again. Buu actually encouraged him. He knows there's probably other strong magicians out there, people like Babidi, people like Buu. And he wants to prepare himself. He needs to be the strongest. Because he knows one day, if that person were to show up, he would be one of their main targets, being one of the strongest magicians and all. So he needs to be able to defend himself. Not like against Boo where he couldn't really fight him. Plus, it's just cool to develop his magical abilities. Alright, well, now that we have that out of the way, the Tournament of Power team is set. Just as a quick recap from the last part, we have Goku, Vegeta, Granolah, Gohan, Trunks, Tenshinhan, Goten, Krillin, Dabura, and of course, Tarble. He was really quick to try and recruit Jaco to the team too, but thankfully they got Dabura. So Jaco dodged a bullet and he didn't need to make an excuse to Tarble. That was close. Now, the tournament itself begins. Universe 7 has a pretty nice team here. Of course, they don't have the androids and they don't have Piccolo on the team, and they don't have Frieza either. So yeah, they're lacking in those areas. And also there's people like Vegeta and Gohan that have gone down different paths than normal. But the team is still good regardless. First of all, there's Trunks. With so much time spent training with Granolah, as well as Gohan and Goten, he now has access to Super Cerulean. And you also gotta remember, not only is he a completely different Trunks than normal, but he's older than the other Trunks. So unlike someone like Goten, for example, who's kinda immature and young here, Trunks is way more grown up, not just in physical size, but also mentality. Although that's kind of a moot point because Goten actually is in the tournament too. But he is a much more refined fighter too because he has more reason to fight here. Training with Gohan and Trunks so much actually helped him with this. It's funny, Trunks was the main motivator there. He was so motivated to get strong that it rubbed off on the other two. Also, let's go back to Tarble for a bit. He has something pretty interesting now. He actually kept it a secret from Vegeta, but he shows it off. He turns Super Saiyan. By this point, with all the training he's done as a galactic patrolman, and with the knowledge from his brother as well as everyone else on Earth, he has this form. Of course, it's not incredibly impressive, but Vegeta's amazed to see it. He never would have thought Tarble would have been able to do something like this. So, maybe joining the Galactic Patrol was a good idea for him. He is really glad that he sought out his brother a long time ago. Maybe the two of them can become training partners, even if Tarble is way farther behind. If he was able to access Super Saiyan on his own with no help, well, maybe Vegeta's been underestimating his brother. He actually joins up with Vegeta to face Toppo together, one of the strongest Pride Troopers. The two of them actually start wiping out the rest of the Pride Troopers, with Tarble showing some respect to them because they do uphold justice. He does the same thing, he's part of the Galactic Patrol, so they're at least glad to hear that. Also, less of a reason for the Pride Troopers to hate everybody. With someone like Tarble on the team, well, the fights between the Pride Troopers and everyone else are a lot more respectable, including Toppo, who doesn't even transform into his God of Destruction mode, because he doesn't have someone like Frieza egging him on. Well, he does end up facing Dabura though. But like I said, Dabura's not like Frieza. He's interfering here to help. It's a weird team up, Dabura, Vegeta, and Tarble. At least this isn't the first time they fought together. That happened in the Buu Saga. And Toppo is a formidable opponent, but they are able to topple him. Oh my god, wait, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't realize how good of a pun that was. Dude, that came natural. That was great. But yeah, with Toppo gone, there's only a few other strong Pride Troopers remaining. Mainly someone like Dispo who can be handled, but also Jiren. We'll be getting to him soon. At some point, Kale and Cauliflower would probably fuse. This would probably happen pretty early on though, because they don't have Super Saiyans, so this would have to be their last resort. And it's a pretty bad thing that their last resort comes so early on. They fuse into Kefla. And even though Kefla would be strong, she's not nearly as strong as she would be normally. But something good does come of the fusion. The fact that Universe 7 learns about the fusion, specifically Granolah and Goku, that's really interesting. Two fighters can fuse into one temporarily? Huh. They'll keep that in mind. Speaking of Granolah and Goku, they're fighting together against a lot of the stronger opponents. And I did mention before, some of the other parts of the team may be weaker than their normal counterparts, but these two, well, they're actually doing pretty well for themselves. For one, Granolah has access to Godly Ki. Combining that with Super Cerealian, I guess that makes him a Super Cerealian god. Beerus already did know about this, but he's elated to see it in action again. Granolah's been growing pretty quickly. He seems to grow just as quick as the Saiyans, which is great. Even better that he has the same forms as them. And also, keep in mind how strong Granolah would be at this point. This is pretty close to when the Granolah arc happened in the normal story. And even before Granolah made his wish, he was pretty strong. We saw him effortlessly fighting an army of 7-3s. And that was just normal base Granolah. Imagine this version who has transformations, Godly Ki, all this great training. He would likely be really insane as a fighter. But the two of them eventually do face Jiren. And here, there's some struggle. Even with godly forms, the two of them are having a tough time keeping up. His power is just so intense. It's pushing them to their limits. But Whis watches carefully. He notes that Granolah is on the cusp of something. It's the whole reason he was intrigued in the first place. Of course, he does have Super Cerealian God, but unlike Super Saiyan God, it's not actually that different from normal Super Cerealian. It's essentially that form with Godly Ki. Essentially an evolved version of that. And Whis was glad to see him tap into Godly Ki, but more so, he's interested in this. And against Jiren, Granolah thinks he has to show it off, even though it's not really refined yet. As we've been discussing in the past few parts, Granolah's powers don't just stop at physical strength. His senses are enhanced, and a good example of that was his fight against Hit, or any other fights he was in. With Super Cerealian, as well as Super Cerealian 2, his reflexes became so fast, he was able to react to things before they happened. His senses were so refined that he could sense such little things within people's movements, beyond the things he could see before with his eyes, and now the things he perceives, it actually helps him unlock something pretty interesting. Something that Whis really wanted Goku to get. Thanks to Super Cerealian and his access to Godly Ki, all Granolah now needs is a calm mind. He powers down into base, trying to tap into this. He's briefly used it before, and now it's time to use it again. It's basically the same principles as what he had with Super Cerealian, but just with more focus. He calms his mind, he calms his heart, and briefly, he closes his eyes. When he closes them, both of his eyes are red, but then he opens them. They've become a shiny pink color. He has a completely blank stare, his hair starts flowing, and a strange glow surrounds him as his aura flares up. Jiren tries attacking him. His attacks aren't doing anything. Everyone looks on speechless, especially the gods of destruction. Well, except a few people. Beerus, Whis, and Goku aren't really too surprised. Well, Goku kinda is. He saw Granolah use this before, and he's elated to see him access it again. He does want to joke around and say hopefully it'll be his turn soon, but he doesn't want to distract Granolah. And the way he's able to pull it off is incredible. Everyone is mesmerized watching him. He has power, but he also has the movements behind it. Of course, this isn't a complete version of Ultra Instinct. This is Omen. But with Granolah's great strength, it's enough of a boost to help him. Jiren begins showing off more of his power, eventually going full power too. And now, no matter how fast Granolah is, he's not going to be able to outspeed Jiren. Jiren's given himself enough speed and strength to actually counter this. Well, hopefully. Goku jumps back into the fight, with the rest of the Universe 7 actually trying to help as well. But at the same time, they don't want to get in the way of Granolah. They know if they join in, they'll just be inhibiting him, and they might make things worse. And Whis notes to Beerus, even though Granolah does have Omen, it's still not the complete Ultra Instinct. But he's definitely on the path to unlocking it. Maybe if pushed far enough, especially in a fight like this, he can unlock it. And they watch carefully. But something very different happens. Granolah doesn't unlock Ultra Instinct. He continues fighting Jiren, but someone else jumps in. Remember how I mentioned everyone was pretty scared to jump in because they didn't want to get in his way? Well, there's one way to jump in without getting in the way. If your body reacts automatically, that is. If there's someone there who could fight alongside Granolah with great synergy, as well as great power and automatic reflexes, and there's one person who's been doing the exact same training as him that fits that perfectly. It's none other than his brother, Goku. His appearance is somewhat similar to Granolah's too. Of course, his eyes are silver. He doesn't have the double red eyes, and he doesn't have a great grasp on this, but he's pushed to his limits by Jiren too. And with the same training in mind, especially with a great training partner like Granolah, Goku applies those principles to himself, unlocking Ultra Instinct Omen. Their two auras merge as they fight together. The power, it's incredible. The two already fought with amazing synergy, but now combine that with the fact that they're using Ultra Instinct. Their bodies are moving on their own. Beerus and Whis are elated, and Granolah is just as surprised, but he can't let emotions overcome him. During the battle, he even briefly cracks a smile. He can't hold it back. He's trying not to show excitement for Goku, because that would ruin his focus right now in Ultra Instinct. He needs to be calm, but he can't help it. Seeing his brother use the same technique as him, and fighting alongside with that same power, well, it's an emotion that he can't really hold back. More reason to make this quick. Thankfully, both of them are on the same page. Their bodies automatically start performing a technique that they used beforehand. An old combo attack of theirs, the Turtle School shooting attack. Jiren is completely overwhelmed by the two of them. Goku tries to launch Jiren into the air, while Granolah has to try and snipe him. And it's a really weird feeling for Granolah, sniping while in Ultra Instinct. The calmness he feels while doing this, locating Jiren's vital points. As he points his finger towards Jiren, his arm is automatically moving. It's essentially like him having aimbot in a way. The execution is flawless, and together, the two of them are able to knock Jiren out of the ring. And by this point, not too many people are left, so Universe 7 ends up winning. And right after defeating Jiren, Granolah drops out of Ultra Instinct. He can't contain how happy he is. Not only did he defeat Jiren, but he successfully pulled off Ultra Instinct, and his brother did the same as well. They've been together through a lot, but that was one of his coolest experiences yet. And the crazy part is, that's only just the beginning. That's not even the true Ultra Instinct. They can only imagine where they'll go next. A wish is made to restore the rest of the universes. Thankfully, Dabura didn't get the Super Dragon Balls. They were kind of worried about that, but now, what's Dabura going to be up to? He did help a lot during this tournament. I didn't really cover it too much, but he had been going around utilizing magic abilities to help actually keep people in the ring, and of course knock out a lot of other fighters. And remember how I mentioned that he was worried about any other magicians popping up? Even with Boo dead, that does happen eventually, and Moro still is able to regain some of his power. But this time the main group doesn't have to worry about it. A few people end up going to Namek to fight it. Well, they head there separately. Beerus doesn't even get involved, he just watches from afar. First, a group of Kais heads there. Shin, Kibito, the South Supreme Kai, and of course the Grand Supreme Kai, ready to face Moro again after all these years. But before their battle begins, someone else shows up, Dabura. Of course, sensing this magical awakening, he wasn't just going to sit back, but he's amazed to see the other Kais here. The Kais are pretty surprised to see him, but they know he's on their side at least because he did fight with them in the tournament. There's no way he's teaming up with Moro. And Moro is kind of concerned now. He's fighting 4 Kais, including the one that he fought before that sealed him away a while ago. And also Dabura, the king of the demon realm who's incredibly powerful with magic. As you could probably guess, this is not going to go well for Moro, and he's defeated relatively easily. But in the meantime, that doesn't mean everyone's just sitting back doing nothing. Goku and Granolah of course train with Ultra Instinct even further. And Vegeta still does consider training with Tarble, but rather, he wants to work towards something else. Seeing Ultra Instinct, he's motivated. He needs to get something of his own like that, but that form doesn't suit him. Thankfully, Beerus has an idea in mind. He sees how primal Vegeta is with that Super Saiyan 4 form, something that goes back to his Saiyan's roots. And he knows something else that'll go back to his Saiyan's roots. Maybe if he learned the techniques of a god of destruction, kind of like that guy Toppo that he fought. He didn't even realize Toppo was a candidate for god of destruction, and he was strong just in base. Imagine if Vegeta could learn like that. And imagine if he could have techniques like Beerus, such as the Hakai or something else. He doesn't know what he could do with it, and Beerus isn't just going to flat out teach him. But now he has a new path to go down. His ego will fuel him, in a good way. So you're probably wondering, isn't everything wrapped up now? I mean, Moro was done with, and there's no Granolah arc because Granolah's here. Well, there's still another loose end. His name is Cell, and his development is continuing. But it's not just the normal Cell. This is going to be a much different Cell than the one we know. He's morphing into a deadly, unstable weapon, growing so powerful. It's not like Cell in any other timeline when he was being developed. The insane data he's being given, he's mutating. It's a new, maxed out version of Cell. You could probably see where I'm going with this, and I'm glad to finally be putting this in a scenario. But we'll be saving that for the next part, which is the finale. This is where we'll leave off for now. So, what'd you guys think about this part? What do you think's gonna happen next time? We have a few pretty interesting plot lines to cover, so be sure to drop some suggestions below, as well as your thoughts on this part. I'd love to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal so we get another part of the series and conclude it. Also, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, as well as hitting the bell icon so you're notified about any future uploads on my channel, including stories like this or the finale to this series. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.